Right now, over 500 million people around the world are living with high blood sugar, and that number keeps growing every single year. If you are one of them, or if you are worried about becoming one of them, you have probably heard the same advice over and over again. Cut the carbs, avoid sugar, stay away from bread, pasta, rice, and anything sweet. But here is something almost nobody talks about. There are foods that do not just avoid raising your blood sugar, they actually help your body control it better. Foods that can make your cells more responsive to insulin again. Foods that work with your body instead of against it. This is not about deprivation. This is about discovery. Today, we are going to explore exactly what those foods are and why they work. And by the end of this video, you will understand something that most people never learn. Controlling blood sugar is not just about what you remove from your plate. It is about what you add to it. Before we begin, a quick note. If you are currently taking medication to manage your blood sugar, please talk to your doctor before making significant changes to your diet. The foods we are about to discuss can be powerful, and they may affect how much medication you need. Now, before we dive into the specific foods, let us clear up a common misunderstanding. Most people believe that high blood sugar is simply caused by eating too much sugar. So the solution seems obvious. Eat less sugar, eat fewer carbohydrates, and your blood sugar will go down. This is partly true. But it misses the bigger picture. The real issue is not just how much sugar you eat, it is how well your cells respond to insulin. Let me explain this simply. When you eat food, your body breaks down carbohydrates into glucose, which is a type of sugar that enters your bloodstream. Your pancreas then releases insulin. Think of insulin as a key. Its job is to unlock your cells so that glucose can enter and be used for energy. When everything works properly, glucose moves from your blood into your cells, and your blood sugar stays stable. But here is what happens when things go wrong. When your body is constantly flooded with insulin day after day, year after year, your cells start to get tired. They stop responding as well to insulin. The key is still there, but the lock is getting rusty. This is called insulin resistance. And when it happens, glucose stays in your blood instead of entering your cells. Your blood sugar rises. Your pancreas pumps out even more insulin to try to compensate. And the cycle continues. Over time, this puts enormous stress on your pancreas. It is working harder and harder, producing more and more insulin just to achieve the same result. Eventually, it may not be able to keep up. And that is when blood sugar levels start climbing higher and higher. This is why simply cutting carbohydrates is not always enough. Yes, it reduces the amount of glucose entering your blood, but it does not fix the underlying problem. Your cells are still not responding well to insulin. Here is the good news. Certain foods can actually help your cells become sensitive to insulin again. They do not just avoid making things worse, they make things better. Let us start with the first one. The first food probably will not surprise you, but the reason it works might. Leafy green vegetables. Spinach, kale, lettuce, collard greens. Swiss chard. These are some of the most powerful foods for blood sugar control. Why? First, they contain almost no carbohydrates. We are talking about 1 to 3 grams of net carbs per serving. This means they barely affect your blood sugar at all, but that is just the beginning. Leafy greens are packed with fiber, and fiber does something remarkable. It slows down the absorption of sugar from other foods you eat. So when you include leafy greens in your meal, the carbohydrates from everything else on your plate get absorbed more gradually. Instead of a sharp spike in blood sugar, you get a gentle rise. There is another reason leafy greens are so important. They are rich in magnesium. This is a mineral that many people do not get enough of, and magnesium plays a critical role in how insulin functions in your body. Without enough magnesium, insulin cannot do its job properly. Studies following tens of thousands of people over many years have found something striking. Those who eat 1 to 2 servings of leafy greens every day have a 10 to 14% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. The results are consistent across different populations and different countries. Whether researchers looked at people in America, Europe, or Asia, the pattern was the same. More leafy greens meant better blood sugar control. You do not need to eat huge amounts. A bowl of salad, some spinach added to your eggs, a handful of greens in your smoothie. These small additions make a real difference. But leafy greens are just the foundation. The next food goes deeper into the root cause of insulin resistance. This is where things get more interesting. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring. These fish contain something your body cannot make on its own. Omega-3 fatty acids. What do omega-3s do? They help make the outer layer of your cells more flexible, and this matters more than you might think. Your cells are surrounded by a membrane like a wall. Embedded in this wall are receptors that receive signals from insulin. When the membrane is stiff and rigid, these receptors do not work as well. When the membrane is flexible, the receptors can function properly. Omega-3 fatty acids make your cell membranes more fluid and flexible. This means the insulin receptors on your cells can do their job better. Your cells can hear the signal from insulin more clearly. There is another benefit. Omega-3s reduce inflammation throughout your body. And chronic, low-level inflammation is one of the main drivers of insulin resistance. It is like a constant irritation that makes your cells less willing to respond to insulin. When inflammation is high, your immune system is always slightly activated. This interferes with insulin signaling pathways inside your cells. By reducing this inflammation, omega-3 fatty acids help restore normal insulin function. Analysis of multiple studies has shown that omega-3 supplementation improves insulin sensitivity in people with metabolic problems. You do not need to eat fish every day. 2 to 3 servings per week is enough to see benefits. And if you do not like fresh fish, canned sardines or canned mackerel work just as well. They are affordable, convenient, and packed with omega-3s. And this is only the second food. The next one was blamed unfairly for decades. For many years, eggs were considered dangerous. We were told they would raise our cholesterol and damage our hearts. But recent research tells a completely different story. Eggs contain zero carbohydrates. This means they do not raise your blood sugar at all. The protein in eggs helps you feel full for hours. This prevents the hunger and cravings that lead to snacking on foods that do spike your blood sugar. But here is something most people do not know. Egg yolks contain choline. This is a nutrient that is essential for your liver. Why does your liver matter for blood sugar? Your liver plays a major role in regulating how much glucose is released into your bloodstream. When your liver is healthy and functioning well, it does this job effectively. Choline supports liver function, which indirectly helps with blood sugar control. Now, what does the research actually show? A study on people with type 2 diabetes found that eating 12 eggs per week for 3 months had no negative effects on cholesterol levels, blood sugar levels or HbA1c, which is a measure of long-term blood sugar control. Even more interesting, another study found that people who ate 1 egg per day actually had better fasting blood sugar levels compared to those who did not eat eggs. The decades of fear around eggs were based on incomplete science. Researchers originally thought that eating cholesterol would raise blood cholesterol levels. But we now know that for most people, dietary cholesterol has little effect on blood cholesterol. Your liver adjusts its own cholesterol production based on what you eat. You can eat eggs every day without worry. The important thing is how you prepare them. Boiled, poached, or cooked with olive oil are the best options. But there is one food that has a unique ability. It does not just benefit you directly, it makes other foods work better. This is something few people know about nuts. Walnuts, almonds, pistachios, pecans. These contain healthy fats, protein, and fiber. When you eat nuts by themselves, they barely affect your blood sugar at all. But here is the fascinating part. When you eat nuts together with foods that contain carbohydrates, they slow down how fast your body absorbs the sugar from those foods. The fats and protein in nuts create a barrier. They keep glucose from rushing into your bloodstream all at once. Instead, the sugar is released slowly and steadily. Research has demonstrated this clearly. Adding 60 to 90 grams of nuts to a meal containing white bread reduced the blood sugar response by 30 to 50%. The effect was seen in both healthy people and in those with type 2 diabetes. The nuts did not eliminate the blood sugar rise completely, but they significantly reduced the peak and extended the time over which glucose entered the bloodstream. Think about what this means. You do not have to completely eliminate carbohydrates from your life. You just need to combine them more intelligently. A handful of nuts with your meal can make a significant difference. Choose raw, unsalted nuts for the best benefits. About 30 grams, which is a small handful, is enough to see results. But perhaps the most surprising discovery happens somewhere most people never think about when it comes to blood sugar. When most people think about controlling blood sugar, they think about the pancreas. They think about insulin. But there is another organ that is quietly influencing how your body processes sugar: your gut. Inside your intestines live trillions of bacteria. This community of microorganisms is called your gut microbiome. And it turns out these bacteria play a much bigger role in blood sugar control than anyone realized until recently. Let us start with something simple: vinegar. Vinegar, especially apple cider vinegar, contains acetic acid. Acetic acid slows down how quickly food leaves your stomach and enters your intestines. This means glucose gets released into your bloodstream more gradually. Multiple studies have shown that just 1 to 2 tablespoons of vinegar before or during a meal can reduce blood sugar after eating by up to 20%. A recent analysis combining results from several studies found that apple cider vinegar reduced fasting blood sugar by an average of about 22 milligrams per deciliter and improved HbA1c in people with diabetes. That is impressive for something as simple as vinegar. But here is what almost nobody talks about. The bacteria in your gut feed on fiber from the vegetables and other plant foods you eat. When they digest this fiber, they produce substances called short-chain fatty acids. These short-chain fatty acids do not just stay in your gut. They enter your bloodstream and travel throughout your body. And they send signals to your cells that help them become more sensitive to insulin. A landmark study published in the journal Science in 2018 showed something remarkable. When people with type 2 diabetes ate a high-fiber diet, it promoted the growth of specific bacteria that produce these beneficial short-chain fatty acids. And this was directly linked to improved blood sugar control. The participants who had the greatest increase in these beneficial bacteria also had the greatest improvement in their HbA1c levels. The connection was clear and measurable. This is why fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, and yogurt can be helpful. They contain beneficial bacteria that support a healthy gut microbiome. This is also why fiber is so important. Not just because it slows sugar absorption, but because it feeds the good bacteria in your gut. The connection between your gut bacteria and your blood sugar is one of the most exciting areas of research right now. And it explains something that has puzzled scientists for years. Why do some people respond well to certain diets while others do not? Part of the answer lies in the unique ecosystem living inside each person's gut. This is not just theory, this is science. What you eat does not only affect your blood sugar directly, it nourishes an entire ecosystem inside you. And that ecosystem influences how your body processes sugar for years to come. You now understand why these foods work. Now let us talk about how to bring them into your daily life. First, choosing what to buy. For leafy greens, fresh or frozen, both work well. Frozen vegetables are often flash frozen right after harvest, so they can actually contain more nutrients than fresh vegetables that have been sitting in a store for days. For fatty fish, wild caught is ideal, but farmed salmon still provides benefits. Canned fish like sardines and mackerel are affordable alternatives that work just as well. For eggs, pasture-raised eggs have a better nutrient profile, but conventional eggs still provide the benefits we discussed. For nuts, choose raw and unsalted. Avoid nuts roasted in oil or coated with sugar. For vinegar, apple cider vinegar with the mother is considered best, but any type of vinegar contains acetic acid and will provide benefits. Here is the important message. Regular versions of all these foods still provide benefits. Do not let perfect be the enemy of good. Second, how to combine foods. Eat nuts together with meals that contain starches or carbohydrates. This slows down sugar absorption. Use vinegar before or during your meal, not after. You can dilute 1 to 2 tablespoons in water or use it as a salad dressing. Combine leafy greens with healthy fats like olive oil. This helps your body absorb the fat-soluble vitamins better. Include fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week to maintain steady omega-3 levels. Third, how to prepare these foods. For eggs, boiling, poaching, or cooking with olive oil are the best methods. Avoid frying in butter. For fish, baking, steaming, or pan-searing are ideal. Avoid breading and deep frying. For leafy greens, eat them raw or lightly sautéed. Avoid boiling for long periods because this destroys nutrients. For vinegar, always dilute it with water. Rinse your mouth after drinking to protect your tooth enamel. Undiluted vinegar can be harsh on your teeth and throat. So after everything we have explored, what is the conclusion? Controlling blood sugar is not just about cutting things out and restricting yourself. It is about choosing foods that work together with your body. Leafy greens create a stable foundation. They provide fiber that slows sugar absorption and magnesium that helps insulin function. Fatty fish help your cells respond better to insulin by making cell membranes more flexible and reducing inflammation. Eggs provide nutrition and satisfaction without affecting your blood sugar while supporting liver function. Nuts help other foods get absorbed more slowly, allowing you to enjoy carbohydrates without dramatic spikes. And vinegar, along with fiber-rich foods, nourish your gut microbiome, the silent partner in your blood sugar control that most people never think about. Together, these foods create a comprehensive approach. They address blood sugar control from multiple angles. They reduce the glucose that enters your blood. They improve how your cells respond to insulin. And they support the microscopic ecosystem that influences everything. These are not restrictions. These are additions. Foods you can add to your life that actively help your body function the way it was designed to. Which of these foods will you add to your meals this week? And which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you know someone who is struggling with blood sugar control, share this video with them. Understanding that food can help, not just not hurt, might change everything for them. Subscribe to this channel to discover more about what really happens inside your body when you eat. Now that you know which foods help control blood sugar, there is something equally important. When you eat matters too. The timing of your meals can be just as powerful as what is on your plate. That is coming next.